start with the definition. Merriam-Webster's, what are you doing? How do you like that? How does that feel? Anyway, Merriam-Webster's Dictionary, which is the wonderful book that also contains the words za and ain't. Ain't isn't even, what do you? I told you not. How about poo? How about poo? How does that feel? You touch this again, I'm gonna have brain freeze for a week. I'm gonna take so much of your ice cream. Anyway, the definition of revenge in the don't you touch that gummy bear. Don't you touch that gummy bear. Son?
What are you doing here?
We need to have a very serious father-to-son discussion about protection.
Shut up, Dad.
This is serious. Now that you're a man, I know that you and that girlfriend of yours have been going out, what are the kids today calling it? Splitting the wood?
No one calls it that
Splitting the wood, I
anymore,
believe.
Dad.
Well, it's very important.
You're a douchebag.
You need to listen. It's very important that you protect yourself because I love you.
Stop being
I love you and you need to
gross.
protect yourself. So I want to make sure that you know how to use one of these.
Oh, Dad, that's gross. Put that back.
You need to watch this. I'm going to demonstrate on myself
Dad.
so that you have some sense
gee,
of
this is
how
so
to
gross.
use
Dad,
this particular...
Dad, this is
Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper, and this week I'm on vacation here at Yellowstone National Park. If you've never been, it is a really interesting geological area because the entire park is located on top of the caldera of a massive supervolcano that only erupts every 600,000 years. While I'm here, this week, it had to erupt this week while I'm here. That's perfect timing. That's great. Well, as soon as that shockwave hits, I'm gonna get fried. So I guess since I'm gonna die anyway, I might as well take this opportunity to get a few things off my chest. The big one really is that it's been a secret, but I guess I'll share it now. I'm quad-gendered polyamorous. Even I don't really understand what the quad-gendered part means, but polyamorous means that I am sexually attracted to plastic. I wanted to share that because... What happened?
Well, the effect was going to be too time-consuming if it hit the tree line, so we decided to stop it before the tree line.
Oh, so that means I'm not going to die?
Yeah, you're good. What was that sexual peculiarity you were talking about?
Well...
What was that all about?
This is a joke. I was just...
A joke, yeah?
Just fooling.
Mm-hmm.
Just fooling around. I'm totally normal. Totally normal. What's a six-letter word starting with the letter P that means someone who says they're going to do something but doesn't do it?
Praxis?
This is video log number 100. It's been 100 days since the aliens invaded and dropped the bird flu-infested clown zombies. I was prepared for that contingency. As a prepper, of course, you would prepare for that. So the very next day, I started my fortifications and, of course, gardening. Now, I'd never gardened before. It's been a bit of a rough go. Steep learning curve, I suppose. But this morning, I finally started reaping the rewards from that garden. I just harvested 20 pumpkins. This is the largest of the pumpkins. This is smaller than I anticipated. I don't know if this is going to work out. Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper. Imagine with me for a moment, total collapse, total Teotihuacan, total Teotihuacan, the end of the world as we know it. You're walking across a post-apocalyptic landscape, scrounging for everything that you need for your daily life. You see a building, the first building that you've seen in months. You go inside for shelter, for comfort, for safety. There's one room inside the building, has scientific markings on it. There's electricity running into the room. There's still some lights on inside. You go in there, bright flashing lights, electricity. That was a time machine. You just walked into a time machine, and now you're 100,000 years into the future. What are you going to do now? Now it's even more total Teotihuacan. More total Teotihuacan. It's a post-apocalyptic landscape. There's nothing anymore. These peaches you see behind me, they're gone. Extinct. You do find one can, a can of delicious food. You open it up with your can opener that you happened to have in your pocket when you walked into the time machine. You open it up. It's a delicious soup-like material. But you don't have a spoon. There's no spoons. Spoons are gone. Are you going to suffer the indignity of trying to drink it out of the can? No. You need a spoon, but you don't have one. Are you going to starve to death? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, asshole? Huh. Looks like it's gonna rain tomorrow. That's it! I am sick and tired of your shit pessimism!
Have we survived yet?
No, not yet.
Have we survived yet?
No.
Have we survived yet? Have we survived
No.
yet? Have we survived
No.
yet? Have we survived
No.
yet? Have we
No.
survived yet?
No.
Have we survived?
No. Dude, are you drinking out of the piss cup? No. The Berkey filter's just getting a little old. It's not what it used to be. Looks like the piss cup, dude. Oh. No. You're right. Yeah, this is the piss cup.
What are you doing?
Oh, it's just an antibiotic.
What do I need that shit for?
Well, you got a little bit of fuzz on your fins.
Wait, that says human antibiotic.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's for people too, but it's penicillin, and penicillin is penicillin. So
No
don't
way.
worry about
No
it. It's all the
way.
same thing. Okay.
Listen
I'm
up,
just-
Dairy Queen.
okay, I'm
You
just-
put that shit in here, and you're gonna be sleeping with the fishes tonight. I don't mean that sexually. That was not intended to be sexual. That was a threat.
I'm sorry.
Holy shit! You f***ing you better watch your back, you mother.
Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper. On a recent alien invasion episode, I used a Faraday trash can to protect some of my electronic devices. Now, I got a lot of questions about... What are you doing? I told you to stay in my childhood. I told you to stay in my childhood. The power of Fred compels you. The power of Fred compels you. The power of Fred compels you. The power of Fred... Which clown zombies are they dropping? Those are totally the bird flu infected ones. I have trained for this. It's time to bug out. We're out in the wild now. We're getting out there. Shit. Where the f am I even going? Where am I going?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're talking about the power of prepping, the wisdom of being prepared for life. We're talking about the story of Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls, a survival hero who survived 40 minutes in the desert. That's right, that morning he woke up in his hotel room. He went down to the production meeting with all the rest of the crew. Did he have a full crew breakfast? He had a continental breakfast. Just a continental breakfast of waffles, toast, bacon, eggs, coffee. Someone give me an amen. He was starving with this scant breakfast. The production crew had warm coats on. It was very cold that morning. But did Bear Grylls have a production coat? No, he had his costume. He was suffering in his costume. He had hand warmers in his pockets and his boots and all up and down his back. But other than that, he was suffering, surviving in the wilderness. Someone give me an amen. Hold on, hold on. I'm feeling the power of prepping. It's telling me somewhere in the audience there's an unbeliever, somebody who doesn't believe in the wisdom of prepping. But don't worry. Someone give me an amen. Someone give me an amen. Give me an hallelujah. That's right. We're gonna turn them into a believer.
Well, that was offensive. Are you one of the millions of Americans who think Praxis Prepper has just gone too far? Are you asking yourself how anyone with a different view on foreign policy could ever teach you anything about gardening or other survival skills?
Praxis Prepper actually carries a gun? I can't listen to him.
I had to put on body armor and unsubscribe so my mind wouldn't be blown.
Well, unsubscribing from Praxis Prepper has never been easier. In the past, unsubbing on YouTube was a nightmare. There were mail-in forms, messy waxes, not to mention those hard-to-clean blades. But no more. Now, unsubscribing to Praxis Prepper is as easy as the click of a button. Simply scroll down to the unsubscribe button, click it, and instantly you're back in a safe space.
The man cans trash. I mean, trash in other people's dumpsters. Just count me out.
It's been 2 weeks since Black Panther came out, and he hasn't said a thing. Unsubbed.
Praxis ain't no prepper. He doesn't even do gear reviews.
That's right, your safe space is just one click away. Unsubscribe today. Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper, and today is a very special episode. I've been waiting a long time to do it, and to help me with it, I figured I'd ask Amber to help me out. Oh hey, our banana showed up. Sweet. Okay, cool. Hey, could you help me with today's episode?
Yeah, sure. What's it about?
Awesome. Oh well, the title of it is Teabagging and Shit Eating for Post-Test.
No!
What are you doing? I need your help. I need your help.
I need your help.
River, it's happening. Look. Hey everybody, and welcome to the live stream episode. Now some of you might be here because I mentioned earlier in the little promo for tonight that it's a little special. We're doing something a little unique tonight, and actually there are three things, as it turns out, that are unique. One is we have a special guest here. with us tonight, sort of wearing Halloween attire, maybe about a month too early. It's a river underneath there. So yeah, I think he's going to stick around with us until I show you guys the B-roll of what's going on over at the build site. There has been a lot going on. I want to share that with you guys. But first off, I want to welcome you and let you know that if you're new to live streams, what we do here is I share with you some of what's been going on at our build, and mostly I open up to questions that you guys might have. Now, I sort of alluded again to something special. There is something special going on tonight, and it's not just our extra special guest here with us. There's a new series coming. We've been doing Project Homestead for 580 something days. Today I recorded day 582. That's been going on for a while. We do have Alien Invasion coming back. That's going to be coming back really as soon as we can finish this series. And nobody is more excited than I am to get through with Project Homestead so that it can be done. And then we get back to Alien Invasion. I really enjoy shooting that series. I enjoy creating and sharing that series with you guys. But as the Homestead series ends, episodes for Alien Invasion don't make themselves. they take a little bit of time, and based on kind of where things are going to end and sort of the season that we're in, we're going to do a short mini series that is going to be kind of a little padding between Project Homestead and the second season of Alien Invasion. And we have a trailer for that, and that's coming up later on in the live stream, just to make you stick around for the live stream to see it. I think it's something really different that I haven't really done on the channel. Not going to say any more about it than that, but before the end of the live stream, I will share with you what the new series is going to be that's going to be coming up as soon as Project Homestead ends at some point. I really can't wait for that to be the case. And the third thing that is sort of different from anything else that you guys might have seen today is I'm not going to bring it up. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's not surprising. It's not newsworthy. It was entirely plausible and predictable and very likely given everything. So it's just not even worth bringing up. So I'm not going to bring it up. So that is the third thing that's a little bit different. So again, if you guys have any questions about homestead building, retreat building, if you would love to have a place that you could go off and get away from the cities, I mean, things are just, they've been cooking all year this year, and heading into the fall, there are so many reasons, one of which I'm not going to mention. Things could be, the pressure could be ratcheting up even more, and there are so many reasons to maybe have a backup plan and a place to just, get out of the thick of it. Because one of the great things about living out in the sticks, or being out in the sticks, even if you don't live there permanently, is you're really separated from a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of that kind of craziness. Out here, we see news stories about things that are happening in the cities, and there's there's a little bit of stuff that happens out here, but it's not at all the same. And if you have the means and the motivation, I should say the means or the motivation, because with the proper motivation, you can get by with very little means. You have the ability to get out into the wilderness, or just get out into rural areas. And you can have a place for yourself that is, it's a fallback position. Things get crazy, and, those crazy things could be driven by other people, or they could be the kind of things that are natural. Hurricane comes through, and you want a place to go that's not like a FEMA camp, or, your relatives, and you have to feel bad about imposing on them, or whatever. It's always nice to have that kind of second place, and it doesn't have to cost you, your entire bank account. We were talking during the last live stream that one of the easiest ways, the cheapest ways of getting a place that you can go to is get some place that's not particularly financially desirable to other people. And one of those things that makes land, if you want to get land, really financially desirable, like, for people to buy and build on, is that it has road frontage. If you find places where you can buy some really backwoods land that does not have road frontage that you have to hike to, nobody's going to want to build a house on that. It'd just be too much of a big pain in the butt. And because of that, the land is a lot less expensive, and you can score a lot of deals doing things like that. So if you have a dream for yourself of doing something along those lines, I'd encourage you to hit me up. I've done it many times before. I'm on kind of my fourth house at this point, and everyone is a little bit different. But if you have questions about the process from the very beginning about like, well, where do I go, to like all the logistics of what's the first step, how do I begin the process, what awful experiences should I be anticipating, how long should it take for me to get from A to B to Z, hit me up with all that. But while you're simmering those questions, unless we have any already. None? Well, no. Okay. Well, welcome, Christopher and Jason. Thank you for joining us. Wow. There's what is it? We got 7. So there's 5 silent people here. So feel free to chime in and let us know what your interests are. But while we wait for any questions to pop into your head, why don't we go to our B-roll for today? I'm sorry, I shouldn't call it B-roll. That's like an industry in term. Let's go on site to see what's been going on this week. All right, here we are at the build site, and everything that I've been working on lately has been outdoor stuff. So we're going to stay outside today. Amber's been working upstairs doing more sanding, and I guess I did some pipe insulation on the inside because it was raining yesterday. Nothing really super exciting to see about that, except that all of our interior pipes, all the copper pipes, they're all insulated, both the hot and the cold. We did the hot because it prevents it from losing heat, and by regulation we had to. And I did the cold to keep the cold water pipes from getting condensation on them and dripping and making a mess on the shelves that run under them in the pantry and everything. So that's what I did inside this week. Nothing really to look at there, but outside there's an awful lot. So let's kind of float over this. We've got the Western greenhouse here. I'm recording this at the end of the day, so you can see the way that the sun is hitting the western side of the house is exactly as you would imagine. We've got all of our rafters and purlins are all in there. This is going to be ready to accept the greenhouse roofing pretty soon, and the greenhouse roofing actually gets delivered in just a couple of days, and that's going to be pretty exciting to start seeing that go up. What you can see on the front face here is more foam. We are putting 4 inches of foam on the southern wall and 2 inches of foam on the east wall and the west wall of the greenhouse. The reason that we're doing 4 inches isn't because I want to keep the greenhouse extra warm or anything like that. It's really just because the greenhouse keys into the rest of the house here, and I just wanted to make this surface here smooth, so that it's one continuous run of boards right across the front of the house. Easily could have just done 2 inches of foam there, and that would have been totally fine. In fact, if you guys take a peek at what we've got here in terms of the spray foam, I spray foamed every joint on the regular house, but on the greenhouse structure, I'm not really being all that careful about it. I know I got some spray foam up there because there's a pretty big gap, but a lot of these gaps I'm not really bothering to cover up, and that is for a couple of reasons. What is that up there? River, can you see it? We're under the path of a bunch of military aircraft. I'm not sure what that is, but they're always going over. There's fighter jets and 4-engine transport planes, military choppers. It's obviously a chopper somewhere. I'd show you if I could see it, but it's below the tree line. So yeah, that's why I did 4 inches on the front walls and only 2 inches on the side walls. I think 2 inches is totally fine, but just to give it a nice consistent flush look, I wanted to do 4 inches on that wall. You can see there's going to be a window here, which is going to match these windows. There's another window here that's lined up with this one and is lined up with those. This one here is going to be different. It's not; these are all openable actual windows that I bought. I'm going to manufacture a window for this. I think it'll probably be glass. I could have done it with translucent fiberglass or something like that, but I think just to keep that consistent look of windows right across the front of the house, I think I'm going to try to make that match the other windows as best I can. I'm going to get back here, and you'll start to notice that we've got this one run all across the house, right here. Goes all the way across the house, and it's uninterrupted. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is sort of visually, I wanted to just kind of carry over the gap between the windows here, but also this whole area, it is real estate that I could put anything I want there. I could put solar panels there at some point. We could do solar air heaters at some point over there, and it's really just being kind of opened up for future use, and I think it's kind of an interesting surface that we could run something across there, and that's why I've left that open. Now, if you guys have been watching the series, you know that the east and the west greenhouses are pretty identical. There's mirror images of each other, but I am going to pop over to the east greenhouse, even though it's just like the west, to show that this is something I just did today. And I've got the spray foam on the and the foam panels on the east wall here. And you'll notice, just like I was saying, the amount of insulation here is just 2 inches. There's 2 inches of foam here. So we've got the interior wall boards, 2 inches of foam, and then we have exterior strapping that holds the foam down. And then on top of this is going to be 3/4 inch board, 1x8s, tongue and groove boards that are going to cover over all that stuff. So that's where things are today. I think tomorrow it's supposed to be rainy, so we're going to be hitting more things on the inside of the house. I was talking to River this morning. None of this can happen, you know, fast enough for either of us. But one thing that's kind of cool about where things are right now is that there's practically nothing completely done in the house, but everything's getting close to 80% done, 90% done, 95% done, 97% done. And at some point, I think in the next month or two, we're going to start getting all those 80s and 90% dones up to 100. And it's just going to be pop, 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 pop as we go through and just kind of finish up everything. I think that the end part of putting this place together is going to start feeling really fast because we just have this accumulating pile of things that are almost on the cusp of being done, and then there's just going to be those couple of weeks when they're all just going to start being finished, and this place is going to go from being a construction site to being pretty much close to being a homestead. That's it. Let's go back to the live stream. Right, so I noticed there's still 0 questions. It's always more fun when you guys can throw some stuff my way, because again, I've done this a number of times. But there is one thing that I feel like I haven't shared enough with you guys, and that is, you know, the whole Project Homestead series is about building a house that arguably is pretty big. It is only slightly larger than the last house that I created. The dimensions of the house that we're building in Project Homestead are 24 feet deep by 33 feet wide. It has 1 story with kind of a half story on top. You know, it's a Cape style house. So there's about, it's like 660 square feet on 1 floor, and then slightly less than 660 square feet on the top floor. So that's like, you know, a little less than 1,200 square feet, somewhere in there. And then the basement is a walkout basement, which makes it feel like it's, you know, the rest of the house. So it really feels like an awful lot of space, and it is. It's been a lot of work. I mean, we're on day 582 at this point in the creation process. I recall the last time that I built my other house, it was also 1 story with not really a full 2nd floor at all. It just had kind of a loft built into it. It was about 2 feet more narrow in one dimension, about 3 feet more narrow in the other dimension. And it just felt like a much smaller project, largely because we did it in stages. We just kind of built the house, and when we moved in, we got a question?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just finish this thought. When we moved in, the basement wasn't even finished. In this house, the basement is part of the living space, so it's a lot to it, but it is possible to make, in addition to that, we're building the greenhouses at the same time. So it's a really big project, all being done by necessity all at the same time. But a project for you to create something that where you could go for a retreat doesn't have to be that complicated. And I'll share with you a little bit later on in the, you know, after we, you know, hit this question, you know, what that process could look like and how simple it really could be. Now, what question do we have? From Jason?
Yeah. Did you get your gray water system worked out?
Okay, my gray, okay, yeah. If you've been watching the series, like Jason definitely has, I think, Jason, you've been here since the beginning, just like I have. We've had some issues with the gray water system in relation to the plumbers. Now, the plumbers that I hired them not on the basis of the quality of their work. They actually did another job for me, which was pretty not great, actually. You know, some of their pipe work was like Rube Goldberg kind of things going on. I figured, like, you know, I could just have a discussion with them and just say I want to have like a lot of nice linear, you know, paths, you know, right angles, 45-degree angles, just make it nice and simple, none of this kind of zigzaggy kind of stuff. Also, you know, their earlier work was not without problems. You know, there were issues with things leaking and stuff. You wonder, like, why I hired these people. Well, the reason is because it's like, you know, I get some unknown commodity, maybe they're even worse. So I ended up going with these guys. Primarily, though, not just because I knew them, but because they specifically told me that they could build the gray water system into the designs. I told them exactly what I wanted to achieve, and they told me that they could do it. Fast forward to a year and a half later, they didn't do it, and they said that it was against code. It couldn't have been done that way from the beginning. So that's kind of where the gray water system is at the moment, but it's not really a problem. And the reason that it's not really a problem is because once we get our final plumbing and honestly our final occupancy permit, once we move in, we can kind of do whatever the heck we want. The big problem with the gray water system, and to say gray water system, that suggests that it's one system. It's actually there's pieces. I love making things modular. So if one part goes down, the other part is probably still going. Now, one gray water system that we have is under the kitchen sink. Now, the kitchen sink is right on an exterior wall, and I made a pass-through in the foundation. It was like a 2-inch pass-through where I can just run some plumbing out from the back of the kitchen sink. Now, for inspection, we need to have the kitchen sink run conventionally, make it just look totally normal like it normally would anywhere, but as soon as we get that inspection, we can very easily replumb that, and that just goes right outside, and it's just going to pour into like a water distribution channel or something out in a little herb garden that we're going to have in the greenhouse. It may not be herbs, I don't know what the hell I'll plant in there, but there'll be something, and we'll be utilizing the kitchen sink water in that area. Now, I am going to be putting on a switch valve, so if something's going to go down the sink. Now, I don't have any plans for this, and it's not something that necessarily would ever come up. But if I was putting something down the sink that I did not want to go out there, some horrible chemical, not that I would necessarily want to do that because you don't want it going into your septic system because that'll ruin the way it's digesting everything and all that. But for whatever reason, if I wanted to not have something go out there, I am going to put valves so I can switch and control. It's like, okay, this does not go out, this goes into the septic system or whatever. Now, the other part of the gray water system is what's being collected from the upstairs bathroom. All the bathtub, shower, the bathroom sink, and the laundry are all being collected in a cistern that is up in the closet, and that is going to have an overflow that will go and kind of water the other greenhouse in the same way, but it's going to also have another valve that you can go and you can fill up buckets and use that to flush the toilet. The problem with that system that the plumbers were not able to build, or told me that they weren't able to build, is that they told me by code here the laundry has to dump directly into the vertical stack where all the other plumbing goes into. It can't. I wanted it to join with the bathroom sink and join with a tub on its way over to the stack, and from there I could divert it and do whatever I wanted with it. They had to have it go direct, and they told me that, and that was a problem. But the thing is, the pipes run parallel to each other. After inspection, I can just join them whatever way I want and make it work the way I want. So the gray water is okay on track for being the way I want it, even though there's bumps in the road, because there's always bumps in the road, and you have to be able to accommodate that. Do you have another question?
Yes, we do, and also Burning Hearth Homestead just joined us.
Oh, welcome, and thank you for your support. Burning Hearth Homestead is one of the ongoing supporters of the channel. You probably see their tag at the end of a lot of videos that I do. They have a cool operation over, I think they're in New York. Are you guys in New York? I thought you were in New York. And they're definitely worth checking out. They are people that are just creating something wonderful and spreading it. They're like positive ripple people, and I love that they are one of my supporters because, I'd honestly take tobacco money if they would pay that. I'm just kidding. I probably do, though. I have no idea what YouTube puts for advertisements in front of my videos, although I don't think they can run tobacco advertising, can they?
I don't think they can.
Tobacco's no good. It'll rot your brain. Okay, so we had a question, though. Ohio? Really? Are you sure? Okay, I'll take your word for it. All right, we had another question?
Yes. How will the greenhouse roof material get tied into the siding of the house?
How will the greenhouse... Yeah, that's a pertinent question to what's going on right now. As a matter of fact, we just started that process today. There's going to be flashing involved. This is one of those things where I don't have enough hands, and I honestly should have like a sketch pad or something like that. I was thinking about that earlier in this episode, and even to talk about the the small compact house that I want to talk about later. Well, what we're going to be doing is above the greenhouses, there's sort of that, this is where it becomes problematic. I don't know the correct term for anything. There's those triangle sections that have the third-story windows on them. That's going to get boarded up, and at the bottom of the boards, we're going to have some flashing that's going to come up. I bought some 10-inch wide flashing because I measured it out actually 2 days ago. It needs to go up about 5 inches to get safely up under the boards that are the exterior wall boards that cover up that triangle section. And it's going to need to shoot out about 4.5 inches over a 2x4 that we have as a header where I've got some props now. I'm just going to keep using my hands. I've got a 2x4 and the greenhouse roofing panels are going to slide right up to the 2x4. This was my dad's idea because he loves things, nice straight lines and everything. So we've got a 2x4 header running across the top. The greenhouse panels slide right up into that, and the flashing goes right over the 2x4 and then drops down on the other side. What I'm using for flashing is just a 10-inch wide, 50-foot long roll of aluminum, which means I have to bend it myself, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but it saves an awful lot of money. And the shape that it's going to be in is it's going to go down, and then there's going to be maybe like about, I don't know, like a 45-ish degree angle, and then there'll be just a little toe or something kind of dangling off the end to give the water something to kind of flop off the edge. And we want to make sure that it's not touching the 2x4. In this area, driving around, I see an awful lot of structures where people take the flashing, and the flashing is what is kind of at the terminating edge of your roof. You got like, whether it's like metal roof or asphalt shingles or whatever, flashing tucks up underneath them, and it's supposed to create like a little drip edge, so the water comes over and it drips. And I see an awful lot of people, if this is the structure and this is the roof, I see an awful lot of people take that flashing and bring it right up to the structure. Now, sure, it looks great, and if you think flashing is just for looks, then that makes a lot of sense. But the problem is that this directs the water right down into the wood of your structure, and that is the exact opposite of what you want to do. So whenever you're installing flashing, you want to make sure you don't do this. You have a little bit of an edge to it, and preferably, you don't have it on like this big straight stretch or whatever. But the last thing you want to be doing is having your flashing making direct contact with your wall. You want it to be overhanging a little bit so the water can get past and not go back into your structure. Did that answer the question? What was it? Was that the original question? Okay, yes, you were asking about how we're going to be doing that. But that's coming up. I think tomorrow I might actually start doing wall boards on the entire south face of the house, because as you saw, I've got the foam all around that, all the way around that corner of that southeast corner of the greenhouse. And now I'm going to just start the face boards that go right across the face of the house. Once that's done, that's like the worst part of the face boards for the whole house, because all the other sides are pretty easy to get to. It's like flat terrain, it's not that high, with the exception of those peak ends. But the idea is, before we put on the greenhouse roofing, we're going to put down, I've got some extra 2x10 boards. We're going to put down the 2x10 boards between all those purlins, make ourselves kind of a deck, and if it works out all right, and hopefully it will, no one will die, and it should be pretty easy to work on those kind of gable ends of the house. I think that's what they're called, gable ends. To work on those gable ends of the house directly from the top of the greenhouse with just some wood down before we put down the greenhouse roofing. Do we have any other questions? Oh, okay, someone said gables, yeah. All right. That's good for both of us. We both remembered. Do we have any other questions?
At the moment, no.
Okay. Well, yeah, what time do we got? Oh, wow, we're almost out of time?
I guess.
I don't think I can fit it in 5 minutes. Well, maybe I can try to fit it in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about Small House, and then we're going to do the trailer for what's coming up for our next series. So I was talking about the idea of, the house I'm building right now is really large. It costs a decent amount of money to do that, but it doesn't have to be. If you guys saw the shed built, the shed that I created was just a couple of $1,000s, which still, that's like thousands of dollars. But you buy a used car and it's thousands of dollars, and I guess you could live out of your used car, but not as comfortably as you could out of a couple of $1,000 small house that you could build for yourself out on land somewhere. And a lot of places you don't necessarily even need a building permit if it's something small. Here, anything under 150, I'm sorry, I'm slurring my words, 150 square feet, anything under that, you don't even need a building permit for. And the small shed that I created, it had a foundation. It's 140 square feet. The foundation encloses a basement, and the foundation is insulated not on the inside. Everybody always insulates their basement on the inside. You put the concrete down, and the concrete is exposed to the outside elements, and then you put your foam on the inside or your fiberglass on the inside. That never made sense to me at all, because the concrete is a really great thermal mass, really great for regulating the temperature of a space, having all that rock, you know, whether it's warm or whether it's cool. It just keeps things very stable. I always put my insulation on the outside, and if you do that, you get a really nice temperature controlled basement to your shed or your tiny house. The shed also has a little deck on the top. It's kind of like almost like a second floor. It's a place where you could sleep. And you know, the shed is 140 square feet with a 140 square foot basement with, I don't know, like 100 square feet kind of attic area where you could sleep. That is 280, 380. Okay, so almost 400 square feet. It's got almost 400 square foot home in something that is allegedly like, you know, 140 square feet. So you can get a lot of square footage in that, and you can build more than one of those. If you wanted to create a retreat location, you could make one of those, and it could be kind of like your living space, and one of them could be kind of like your storage space. If you have multiple people in your group, you know, different people could have, you could make like a little village of these things, like everybody could buy in, and it's like, you know, it's like $4,000 or $5,000, and you get your own little mini house. You could make one that's kind of like a community thing. There are all sorts of ways you could approach this, and all those, the materials could all be kind of like hauled in. You know, sure, it's a pain in the butt, but if you can save tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, by not having something that has road frontage, you can make like a secret little community somewhere. And if you get a couple people together and they're doing that, the land didn't cost people that much money. Each individual house doesn't cost people that much money, and you know, whenever there's less money involved, there's less possibilities for conflict too. You know, if people are in for like, you know, like $50,000 each, or, you know, whatever is a meaningful sum to you. If you're super rich or something like that, maybe $50,000 is like, oh, that's shoe money. Or I should have said $70,000, because then I could have said, oh, that's haircut money. But you know, like whenever the numbers get really gigantic, then it's like, you know, there's more possibility for conflict because people feel like they have more invested. But you know, if it's less money and still it's like $1,000 is more money, it's not going to be the kind of thing where people are really stressing out over it. And you know, you could create something really wonderful, really safe, and a place that you could go not just in an emergency, but it's a retreat place. You know, you can bring your kids and have the opportunity to you know, just have a place that you can go to. Somebody showed me a hand. Is that like stop?
I think that's wave.
Oh, okay. Hey, Troy. Who else is in here? And Michael? That was not a rhetorical question. I can't see the screen very well.
Yeah, it's Michael.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys all showing up, and I guess it's time for me to make good on you know, what's coming up next before Amber plays it. And we're going to go right out with this. After this, we're going to go right out to the our little closer video. I just want to let you know kind of what you're about to see. I was involved in a film production you know, a while ago, and you know, I know the people that made a feature film. It's a disaster film. It has survival elements to it. I think it was pretty good. You know, I actually have a cameo in it. Little role in there, little cameo, and they gave me permission to share this feature film with you guys on my channel. Now, I've broken it up into an episodic format, which actually works really well for it. Each one's like somewhere around 10 minutes. And as soon as Project Homestead ends, we're going to begin this series. And I want to do it like I had been doing the Alien Invasion series, where we'll share the episode and then do a kind of like talk about some of the survival themes that were in that episode. Yeah, I might do it as a live. I haven't really decided yet, but that's the idea. So this is a feature film made by some friends of mine. I have a wee little cameo, not in the trailer, and I'll be sharing it with you guys. And I think it'll be something kind of new and interesting for the channel to, you know, and people can like laugh at the acting too. That's totally fine as well. So let's roll that, and then we'll go at and then we'll go out after that. So thank you guys all very much for showing up. I'll see you next time.
want to get caught in an earthquake?
No, I actually want to do something worthwhile in my career. But fixing seismic gear in the middle of nowhere is not my idea of scientific career advancement. No! This is nuts! How is this happening?
I'm not sure yet. Certainly, maybe we missed something.
Noah, read this.
Whatever it is, it's right outside.
Whoa. What's going on?
Oh my god.
The entire valley has become contaminated with a crawling mass of pure CO2 gas. It's rising, and every breathing creature in it is going to be dead by nightfall.
Oxygen! He needs oxygen! He needs to breathe! Is this right?
What are we gonna do? The whole point of carbon sequestration is to keep carbon emissions out of the atmosphere.
We are under enormous amount of pressure to start sequestering, and if we stop sequestering, we have to pay through the nose for carbon credits. Do you understand me?
Hey, what's your problem?
We're running low on air and you're wasting it.
Everything that goes on in this company is my business.
Drop the tank!
This episode has been brought to you in part by Prescott Caliber Club and Jeski Defense Strategies. Prescott Caliber Club is a federally licensed firearm manufacturer and retail store specializing in firearms, survival gear, and producing great online content. If you want to thank them for supporting this channel, go check them out at PrescottCalClub.com. Please subscribe and tune in every Friday at 4:30 New York time for a new video. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so both through Patreon or PayPal.